Hello, Karina Grunberger, your mindset and success coach. I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about limiting beliefs because I hate to break it to you, we all have them. Even if you're sitting there thinking, no, like I'm good, I don't have any. You do. And the main, I guess, issue you could say that I have with limiting beliefs and putting that label on it is that so often we just don't realize that they're there because we take our assumptions, we take things for truth and for fact when it may not necessarily be the case. So, as a mindset coach, limiting beliefs are kind of like the foundation of my business because to be able to go in to somebody, get into somebody's head and figure out, okay, what is holding you back? What is going on in your brain that is not letting you to break through to that next level that you want to get to, whether that's in your business, in your life, whatever it is. We all have those self-imposed limits, which is what I love to tackle, which is what I love to work on with my clients. And anyways, let's get to 4 ways that you can start to recognize and change those limiting beliefs. So the first one is to journal. That's one option. I personally am not a huge fan of the word journal, which may sound funny, but I've always associated it with like something a little kid would do, or not something that is a legitimate business tool. But I've realized, or come to realize, that it really is. And if you, like me, have issues with a specific word, there's also other ways to phrase it. Some people call it brain dump. Let's see, you could, what are the other ones? Free writing is another way to phrase it, and really they all end up at the same place. It's the same end goal. Just basically grab a pencil and paper, and like seriously, a pencil and paper, not just typing on your phone. It does make a difference, people. So find a pencil and paper, go and just start writing out what you've got going on in your head. And when you put it down on paper, it makes it more concrete, and it helps you to see what those belief systems are. And if, let's say, you can't actually physically write it, or you're thinking faster than your hand can move, which usually happens for me, then one option that I like is voice recording, and that you're able to go and you could play back to yourself at faster speed. There's a pro tip right there, and kind of hear what's going on, and just keep talking, keep writing, keep going to kind of get you to dig deeper in what's going on in your head. So that is one way to figure out what those limiting beliefs are. And number 2, second one is to look at the words and the language that you're using. So as I just said, journaling is kind of like, for me, I don't like that word. It just, I don't know, doesn't make me feel good, empowered. But when you say free writing or brain dump, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And it's just a word, but words carry so much impact and so much, there's so much power behind them. And so for step number 2, what I want you to focus on is really, what words are you using to explain situations, to talk to yourself? Because we all know we have that internal monologue that's running pretty much 24/7. So what are the types of things that are going on? What are you saying? What are you associating with what's going on around you? Are you being super negative? Are you being super critical of yourself and how the situation is playing out? So recognizing those words that you're using to describe a situation, or to maybe judging or being a little critical on yourself, it's important to recognize what those are, and that's a great way to start to realize, to start to shift that. So this brings me to point number 3, which is recognition of what the hell's going on in your head. Now, the first two tips were great strategies on how to figure out kind of that thought process and figure out what's going on up there. But really, when it comes down to it, you absolutely need to start recognizing and calling yourself on those limiting beliefs. Now, an easy example that I can think of for myself is that I've always told myself I'm not good at tech. Now, I have a university degree. I'm not a dumb person, but I've never really felt that I'm good at technology. So this was kind of like a limitation that I put on myself. And now that I'm kind of in this mindset coaching realm, I've realized that it's not that I'm not good at it. It's that I don't give a shit. So what I've realized is that I don't care to figure it out. And for those moments, because as you're building a business, as you know, there is a lot of tech that you have to figure out. And if you can't do it, then you have to pay somebody to do it. So you need to decide, either you spend your time or you spend your money to figure it out. And so for me, I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. This is what I need to do. And turns out I'm not so bad at tech. I just don't normally care to figure it out. So that is one of my limiting beliefs. And I'm sure you can go and look at yourself and some of the things that you tell yourself and maybe pick out similar instances where you say, well, I'm not good at this, or like really just judging yourself, your abilities. But then when you're put into that situation of like, you need to figure it out, I bet you can. And most of us just kind of brush it off like, oh, well, I'm bad at that, I'm not going to do it. Like, I can think of math. Math is a good one. Everybody's like, I'm not good at math, I just can't do it. But like, do you care to figure it out? Do you like really want to? Is kind of another story and another perspective. So that is strategy number 3. Now, our last one for you today is affirmations. So basically, everything that we've talked about so far, that's been kind of how you recognize and how you see what's going on in your head and the things that you're believing to be true. And affirmations are a perfect way to flip that. So you want to flip that script and you want to start telling yourself what you want to be true, what you want to believe. And I understand that you don't want that delta to be too big. So between where you are today and where you want to be, if it's a huge, huge gap, then you're just going to be sitting there going, this is crap. I can't believe this. But if you make it small incremental steps, then it makes it so much easier to get to that next step. Like for my tech example, if I wanted to use an affirmation to help me establish that new belief, then I would say something to the effect of, I probably should have thought about this before. Let's see, I am capable of figuring out tech issues. And let's say that I want to make that my new belief, then I want to repeat that to myself as often as possible. Maybe let's say once a day is a good start to reinforce that. Now, affirmations are, I guess, obviously most useful when you repeat them over and over again. And if you're sitting there going, okay, well, that's a little silly, like, do I really need to do this? I just want to highlight that you're already using affirmations, but they just may not be helping you. So going back to my tech example, my affirmation to myself was, I'm not very good at tech. And whenever there was an issue, this is what I would repeat to myself. So that's an affirmation. It's just not a very good one and not conducive to actually helping me grow and learn and get out of that comfort zone. So those are my 4 strategies for you. I hope you like them. I hope you enjoyed. Please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear how those work for you. If you've already started to implement those in your life or in your business, I know that they will